Another in a series of presidential profiles, Thomas Jefferson, third President of the United States.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Immortal words that marked the birth of the United States of America. The Declaration of Independence, a legacy of freedom, framed by one of history's most powerful advocates of liberty, Thomas Jefferson. A man who dedicated his life to the principle that all men are created equal. Born of a wealthy and influential Virginia family, Jefferson lived among planters and frontiersmen who knew and controlled their own lives. At a time when Great Britain still ruled the 13 American colonies with an iron hand, this frontier independence represented a revolutionary doctrine. Jefferson's college education and unswerving faith in democracy made him a natural spokesman for the anti-British forces when he was elected to the Virginia legislature in 1769. Unlike the monarchs of Europe, Jefferson believed that every man, no matter what his background, was capable of determining his own moral responsibilities.
State a moral case to a plowman and a professor. The farmer will decide it as well, and often better, because he has not been led astray by artificial rules.
Freedom of self-government. This was the storm cloud that gathered strength day by day as England tried to exert sovereignty over her restless American colonies. For brief periods, the radical movement seemed to be stilled, but the voices of men like Jefferson were quick to inflame the smoldering embers of discontent.
Scarcely have our minds been able to emerge from the astonishment into which one stroke of parliamentary thunder has involved us, before another, more heavy and alarming, is fallen upon us. Single acts of tyranny may be ascribed to the accidental opinion of a day, but a series of oppressions, begun at a distinguished period and pursued unalterably through every change of ministers, too plainly prove a deliberate, systematical plan of reducing us to slavery.
In December 1773, rebelling against new British tax burdens, a group of patriots disguised as Indians boarded 3 ships in the Boston harbor and threw the cargo of tea into the water. Responding to the challenge of the Boston Tea Party, British authorities closed the port of Boston. The American Revolution had, for all practical purposes, begun. Many colonists continued to press for reconciliation with the mother country. But for men like Thomas Paine, Patrick Henry, and Thomas Jefferson, complete independence was the only goal. And on July 4th, 1776, while the world watched and listened, Jefferson's philosophy became the American creed, the Declaration of Independence.
We do solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Jefferson had formulated the proposition for the greatest experiment in history, a new society where all men were created equal and dedicated to the ideals of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But for Thomas Jefferson, The work had only begun. The Declaration of Independence marked the beginning rather than the end of the fight for this new country. While the troops of General Washington battled the well-equipped British Army, Thomas Jefferson sounded the heartbeat of freedom to mankind around the globe.
A just and republican government maintained here will be a standing monument and example for the aim and imitation of the people of other countries. And I join with you in the hope and belief that they will see from our example that a free government is of all others the most energetic. That the inquiry which has been excited among the mass of mankind by our revolution and its consequences will ameliorate the condition of man over a great portion of the globe.
A firm advocate of responsible local government, Jefferson returned to Virginia to remold that state's institutions. The task before him was immense. Freedom of religion was a prime concern of Jefferson's, for the established church had the legislature support. It was a crime not to baptize a child, a crime to bring a Quaker into the colony, and a crime not to contribute to the church. This outraged Jefferson's love of liberty. For 10 years he fought to eliminate this injustice, and in 1786, the Statute of Virginia for Religious Freedom became law.
Sir, could you tell us the results of this session?
No man shall be compelled to frequent or support any religious worship, place, or ministry whatsoever, nor shall otherwise suffer on account of his religious opinions or belief. But all men shall be free to profess and by argument to maintain their opinions in matters of religion.
This victory came when Jefferson was serving as America's ambassador to France, seeking to establish favorable relations with Europe and secure his country's newly won independence from Great Britain. A hard-headed diplomat who infuriated foreign nobility by receiving them in his bedroom slippers, Jefferson's love for democracy grew as he saw firsthand the tyranny resulting from the divine right of kings. The key to maintaining political liberty, said Jefferson, was to institute a system of education for all.
If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. Enlighten the people generally, and tyranny and oppression of body and mind will vanish, like evil spirits at the dawn of day.
Jefferson returned to the States and served as Secretary of State under President Washington's administration. As a reluctant candidate for president in 1796, Jefferson came within 3 electoral votes of being elected. 4 years later, he ran again and became the 3rd President of the United States. Jefferson's 2 terms of office were almost an anticlimax, since this distinguished statesman had already secured his place in history as the author of American freedom. In 1803, however, he negotiated the purchase of the Louisiana Territory from France for $15 million, a land acquisition which was to have far-reaching effects in the future growth and development of the United States. Today, 13 states comprise this vast territory, from Louisiana to Montana. Closer to his heart was a cause which Jefferson believed to be bound up with the progress of democracy, the cause of peace.
Peace, then, has been our principle. Peace is our interest. And peace has saved to the world this only plant of free and rational government now existing in it. If war takes place, republicanism has everything to fear. If peace, the spirit of our citizens will rise with a strength and majesty which show the loveliness of freedom.
The undying faith of Thomas Jefferson in the beauty of freedom and the right of every man to possess it. This was the legacy he left for the American people. He spent his declining years after leaving the presidency working to preserve the concepts of liberty which he had established. He was the voice of American democracy. So well did he speak that even when his voice was stilled, democracy lived on. Thomas Jefferson died on July 4, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Every man and every body on earth possesses the right of self-government. They receive it with their being from the hand of nature. I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny,